Yo! Welcome back to another episode of Raid Shadow Legends. So apparently the blessings changes has dropped and the community is talking about it now. So I would also like to give my opinion on what have they done with the changes currently, right? So let's quickly take a look at what changes they made. Is it good or bad? Right? Let's start with a survival instinct, okay? So the rare blessing for survival instinct, basically they increase the turn meter percentage. Alright, and at 6 star there's no turn restriction. Not particularly sure if this is used often because it requires a debuff to be placed, spread or transferred onto the champion in order to activate this blessing, right? The only champion that I can see that can use this really well is Skimforce, because Skimforce can actively transfer debuffs from all allies besides those CC debuffs onto himself. He has on his A2 he has a 3 turn cooldown that does this. They will transfer the debuffs from everybody else besides those CC debuffs onto him. Okay, so if he is using this blessing, he will benefit from the turn meter field. Okay, this is an improvement. Next is a Dark Resolve. Dark Resolve basically there's no changes to the chances of blocking a debuff, but there's at a 6 star there's no cooldown. Okay, so before, if you're not 6 star, that means you have a 1 turn cooldown. Not much of a change to Dark Resolve. Not like people are using this unless is a rare quality champion, right? Okay, I would say this is not much of a change. Next is Indomitable Spirit. So basically the chances, there's no changes. Again, at 6 star there's no cooldown. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what does this mean. Cooldown removed. Is it only for 6 star or it applies to the 1 star to 5 star? I'm not sure. Okay, based on this description, but the percentage of blocking debuffs has not changed, so don't really see a difference there. Okay, the next one is Miracle Heal. This is really good. Okay, basically the chance to restore the destroyed hit point when healing is increased even at 1 star. That's a 50% chance. So okay, the restoration rate is depending on the strength of the healing. Okay, this is very good in Hydra. On somebody like, example, an Ugo will heal everybody, right? And then he will place block buff. So if he has this blessing, then it will obviously help, because the Head of Decay keeps destroying our hit point when we are trying to heal, right? So okay, this is very good in Hydra primarily. The next maybe is Sand Devil. I'm not sure if maybe it will help. I think maybe it will help a lot. Okay, this one is a good improvement. Next, we move on to the epic blessings. Little Dose. Again, what you need to know is this only applies in arena. It basically strengthens the poison damage. Okay, so what in summary, this is only improvement to the damage from the poison. Okay, I will talk about Little Dose together with Incinerate. Okay, Incinerate on the other hand is the HP burn version of Little Dose. So they have basically strengthened the HP burn damage. Okay, and then additional perks at 6 star by decreasing the turn meter. So again, this only applies in arena. What you need to know if you're new to this game is poison damage, there's two versions of poison, 2.5% and 5%. The strong version is based off the enemy's max hit point. So you can calculate that kind of damage based on this, based on that, and against this 100% increase, right? Let's say you've got to 5-star, you got 100%, that means double. So basically that is 10% damage of the max hit point. Okay, I don't think that's a lot. As for HP burn, that is basically 3% of the target's max hit point. So if you got to 5-star for Incinerate, that is around 6%, double the damage. Or what will happen in Arena, they are just going to do this or do this. So not going to work in Arena. Okay, this looks great for the holidays when you take your time burning or poisoning them to death. Alright, so I would say that they should put this in PvE content where your champions will take down the boss usually, and then this will greatly help those champions. So I seriously doubt they even play tested their own game at this point. Okay, so for Little Dose and Incinerate, trash. Life Harvest. Moving on to Life Harvest. So this blessing will destroy enemies max hit point whenever they are revived. Okay, this is the keyword, when they are revived. Like, if you think about the practicality of it, it's really not there, because think about Scarab boss, you will be destroying their max hit point before they are revived, right? Yeah, I'm thinking correctly. Before they are revived, you need to take him down, right? So you need the destroy max hit point to be in effect before they are dead. So this only happens when they are revived. So that basically means they need to die first. Okay, so all these are basically not useful, I would say, this blessing. Like, even if you buff the percentage, right, the destroyed percentage, it seems like trash. It still seems like trash because of how it works. So easy skip. Next, temporal chains. Okay, so they changed that it will decrease the enemy speed for each buff they're under, except the buffs placed at the start of the round. This is a response to something like this. People that are using Divine Speed sets in Arena. Divine Speed will grant HP self shield on the champion at the start of the round, right? So if I'm using a speed champion and I'm using Divine Speed, and then your temporal chains wants to decrease my speed, right? That defeats the purpose of me using Divine Speed, isn't it? Okay, so this is a response to content creators complaining about Divine Speed, right? Which basically makes sense. Although I understand that some people will see it as a nerf to someone like a Necret, because Necret will place like 1,000 debuffs at the start of the turn. Okay, to one champion. And Chris as well. Chris has a passive that will put up the shield, right, at the start of the turn. So people see it as a nerf to temporal chains, because they are basically not able to decrease the speed of these champions. And besides that, let's see here. Whenever an enemy receives third active buff by a certain amount. Okay. So I think the decreased turn meter did not change. It's still 15% at 6-star. So okay, that's about it for temporal chains. Now let's move on to the final tool that has the most that piss people off the most, right? Number one, Phantom Touch nerf. Okay, they call it balancing. I see it as cash grabbing. Okay, because they just want you to get to the highest level of the blessing for that champion in order to enjoy the 100% chance of inflicting bonus damage. Okay, I think the damage is still proportional to the attack. Okay, so they reduce the chance for the lower levels. For each level, they basically reduce the chance of inflicting bonus damage, right? This is the best, probably one of the best blessing for rare champions, and you will only use this when it's either epic or rare quality of a damage dealer. Okay, you probably would not even use this for your legendary champions. Okay, so I would say the percentage reduction, okay, you will see a bit of a damage reduce when you in practical usage. So for progression players, this will probably piss them off most. Okay, that's the way of how Platinum doing all the changes. They don't think from the player's perspective. They only want money. Next is Brimstone, the most popular PvE blessing in the game. Alright, because of how strong the smite debuff is. So before the buff, the smite debuff basically cannot be resisted, cannot be blocked, cannot be removed. Basically, it's a protected debuff. Alright, so and then the chances varies based on your level of a blessing, right? So now, not only they reduced the chance of placing the smite debuff, they also make it so that only the level 5 and 6 blessing of a smite can be protected. Alright, that means there's two things here. Number one, it can be removed, it can be cleansed off by your opponent. Basically, it can be blocked, it can be resisted. That means if they have something like a block debuff, you cannot land smite, and that is accuracy check. You need to build accuracy to land smite. Okay, previously smite does not need any accuracy, so that is additional stat burden for your champion to land smite. You need accuracy. Okay, get that into your your head while processing this. So if you are not at level 5 and above, if you use this in Hydra, for example, the decay hit is just going to cleanse this. Okay, if you don't time your smite correctly, and you can't even time your smite correctly because it's not 100% chance, you cannot control when it will land. When it lands, I'm like, oh yes, it lands, and then the next thing is the head of decay just cleanse it. I'm like, boo-hoo, we cleanse it. There goes your smite. Basically, for Brimstone, they just want people to go to 6-star, the final level, for 100% guaranteed, and then a protected smite. Guaranteed means there's no accuracy check. Okay, it's really simple as that. It cannot be blocked, it cannot be resisted. These two things is at level 6. Any other effect below level 6, you will not get this guaranteed. That means if you are not at level 6, you need to build your accuracy. Okay, that's basically it. And then you try to remove the block debuff from your opponent first. Oh, that's a lot to talk about Brimstone. It will greatly affect your usage in things like Sand Devil. Sand Devil, if you don't have crazy champions like Acrisia, Septimus, all that, you pretty much rely on Brimstone to farm Sand Devil, and this will greatly impact Sand Devil because Sand Devil once you land smite when the Sand Devil is asleep, once he awakes, his first move is going to cleanse. Alright, if you are not protected at least level 5, your smite debuff is not at least level 5, he's just going to cleanse it, and he will not take damage from smite. That's how the mechanic will work in Sand Devil. So I've covered how you would probably use smite in Hydra and Sand Devil. Those two areas will be greatly impacted. Okay, so a big L to Plarium. However, I'm fascinated. Alright, they did not touch two of the strongest blessings in the game, particularly in Arena, right? The first one is Polymorph. Polymorph basically makes the opponent a sheep when they try to remove or steal buffs, right? Okay, you can see even at level 1, the description says that this debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. Okay, this is how strong a Polymorph debuff is when during an arena defense situation. Okay, so if you are a sheep, okay, you become a sheep, you lose all your buffs. Automatically you lose all your buffs and you can only use a sheep attack. Okay, however, you gain a significant not significant, I mean a bit of an advantage, a trade-off. Okay, if they try to kill the sheep, you get revived, you get transformed back to your champion form and with a 50% hit point. I'm surprised they did not change or nerf this skill in Arena. Apparently this is okay. The next skill is Lightning Cage. I love Lightning Cage, but I have to talk about it because even at level 1, Lightning Cage will have 50% chance to protect buffs, right? Even if this is not used in Arena, if you're using this blessing in Hydra, the Mischief Head will have a hard time trying to steal off your buff. Okay, and this is particularly strong in Arena because they cannot strip your buffs for obvious reasons, and pair with something like a bolster set, right? They are going to have a hard time trying to take you down. Some examples you can watch back my previous Pythian videos for a better illustration. So these are basically the two of the strongest blessings in Arena, and these are okay. Alright, Terem gonna be like, these are fine. We're just gonna go after Brimstone and Phantom Touch because those free-to-play F2P players like to use them for easy wins. Okay, so I think that's apparent that it's a dick move. And Plarium, I think not too long ago I just dissed them regarding the guaranteed Void Lego amount of Void shards required, right? Is raised from 80 to 110 shards. Now it seems like they can never stop making their players disappointed and upset. So yet again, another big L to Plarium. Let me know, what do you think? What are your thoughts down the comments below? I would like to know, and I will see you guys on the next one.